OKC, don't let nobody discredit them. Let them take this. They've
Facts.
earned this championship. Yeah, their first championship up in OKC, man.
You talking about putting up banners in OKC? This is the first banner in the history.
I'm over here laughing and smiling because I'm happy for these young boys.
Congratulations. Rings matter.
A lot of players will never be able to lead a team to a championship like Shai just did. Shai becomes the Finals MVP and wins this championship. He becomes the greatest Oklahoma City Thunder player.
I was going there. That's what I was doing.
He's a winner.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a timeout. This is Game 7 of the NBA Finals, fourth quarter right now. We decided to jump on Riverside to bring our commentary right to you guys. We are at the crib right now. There's real things going on. We are in husband mode, parent mode, all the modes. But who fans? We want to get an opportunity to talk about this last game. This is the last game of the season, fellas. Game 7. I'm excited, but also too a little air let out the balloon, man. Holly went down early in the first half, and so a little air let out the balloon. But, man, talk about it. Where we at? How y'all feeling?
Hey, man, I hate that Holly had to go down like that. I hate the fact that he was able to go out there and risk everything for his team. And, this is what happened, man. But salute to him, speedy recovery to him. And, this is what I thought was going to happen. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I knew it was going to happen when that belt to ass was going to come out with the OKC Thunder putting it on Indiana. Straight like that.
Yeah, right. And I did say that it was going to be at least a 12-point smack at some
If you would have called that, if you would have said Holly was going to be hurt, I would have agreed with you on that one.
Well, no one could call that, but we thought with Holly or without Holly that this was.
I don't know.
This was the inevitable.
I don't know. I think it was inspiring to see like the team, hold their own until like the half. And I was like, man, if they can figure out to just keep it this close again, maybe, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, all that pressure now is on OKC.
Well, Bob, look at this. This is my POV. Holly is special. And he's an all-star for a reason. And I know we sing high praises about TJ all the time. But it's a reason why he's the second team or third team point guard. And playing extended minutes on the largest platform, you could see right there in the third quarter and the second quarter where he had a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
And he's playing extended minutes, and the Pacers just didn't look the same. They didn't look like the ball was moving, the ball was sticking. A lot of one-on-one play, and, they lost their leader. The quarterback position, the point guard position is the most important position on the court, not from a scoring perspective, but from a leadership, the intangibles, organization, putting guys into place. And with Holly going down, even when you put the substitute in, it is only for a short period of time. So Indiana Pacers are playing without their quarterback. And I think that is a big piece. You could play without other pieces, but, I think the quarterback is important, whether they're a scorer or not a scorer. His impact on this game is missed.
For sure.
I agree,
man. I think TJ also, too, man. He had an unbelievable quarter to help them stay within the game. I mean, he was making pull-ups and being very aggressive, scoring basketball. He's doing more than you expect him to need to do. But also, too, I feel like the offense went to him dribbling the ball way too much.
Yes.
And it's not about him handling the ball, but run offense where that ball is moving and is getting in everybody's hands, really using that, the ability that Indiana has to have multiple guys to have 14+. They kind of lost that as soon as Holly left the game, and TJ just went to the dribble game, kind of like Shai, but he's not Shai.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it was more like Bob Cousy.
Yeah, going right, going left, going right.
Well, when you look at that though, D, when that happened, sometimes you either panic or you just start to do things outside of your character. And what makes him so special is when he can do his thing within the flow of the game. And, to run a team, better than anyone, that's a big responsibility to run that team in possession for possession.
And it was a bunch of twos as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Good game.
mid
Twos
twos.
for threes. Hey, Siakam, totally different player, man. That jumper working now, totally different player, man. I was impressed with him this whole finals, this whole playoff run, man. He showed me a lot. He showed me a lot. But that's the thing that makes it bad with Holly going down, man. Like another guy that might miss the whole next year after getting all the way to the finals.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk
You know what I'm
about
saying?
OKC.
So
Let's talk
that
about
shit sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. OKC in the third quarter made, I think, 6 threes in a quarter. You know, that type of run is tough, bro. The game was close. Then they made 3-3-3. That was a 9-0 run. And all of it happened off of either turnovers or some type of breakdown from the Pacers. But you know OKC, when they making threes like that, they tough. And it came
Mhm.
from different
Yeah.
role players.
Well, I think the most impressive thing that OKC did in that run was, man, they turned Indiana over defensively
Yeah.
Yep.
so many times, and they didn't have any turnovers in that run. A stat just came up. It's their first turnover of the
Damn.
half, and it's under 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And so
Wow.
they got ball on basket. They got some shots to fall, but they wasn't turning it over. So Indiana, you're already down, your quarterback, your leader.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're running offense, to try to, hopefully move the ball around and get everybody an opportunity, but they can't because they start turning the ball over so much. And so it's hard to win this. It's going to be totally hard to win this game when you start giving up those
Facts.
extra possessions like that. And so OKC did an amazing job of not giving it back as well, of putting ball on basket.
Yeah, that's right, man. And,
Yes,
and
sir. Hey,
when
what
they're
you guys think about Rick Carlisle before the game? Kind of pissed off that he saw that video go viral of the OKC championship buses already being made and buttered up.
No, I ain't seen that video, but you said I'm
I
just
see
laughing when you
that.
said butter
I
up.
didn't see
Well,
that
go
yet.
ahead.
Yeah, it was a dude behind the scenes that was helping. Well, I guess they wrapped the buses,
Yeah,
and somebody had a video that was working on the buses,
That's
and it
so.
went viral
What was he
before
was
the
just? It was
game.
not by the fact that they was already calling it. Well, shit, not at this point.
Hey, man, hey, listen, you can't be mad at him for getting prepared, getting
Yeah,
ready. Because if it don't
2025
happen,
champion.
he going to have to eat that. So you can't be getting mad at a company probably out of OKC
right.
for getting ready to celebrate their
Yeah,
team. Like, I mean, if you want to use that to put on your bulletin board, then go ahead. But you
Right.
don't need that in Game 7 anyway. So it wasn't
facts.
about that. But you can't get mad at somebody for being prepared for that belt ass that
Mhm.
they was hoping they was gonna get.
Yeah, no doubt.
The beautiful thing is OKC is showing up at home, and basketball is a team sport, and so we can't take away from OKC because of Halliburton's injury. This weekend, me and D was with a particular player. He said, "Hey, I won a championship with 2 players out, and I lost a championship with a player down. I can't discredit a championship based on who's on the court. It's a team sport, and you got to be ready to have next man up and be ready to play. So we can't discredit OKC and their performance based on one player because it's 13 guys, 14 guys on the roster over there.
Yeah, that's the great Draymond Green.
Yeah,
By the way, just having great conversations with great minds. It was great to hear Draymond's perspective on, I mean, just how he viewed the game. We had an opportunity just to talk, and I'm sure Dre, he wouldn't mind us sharing the basketball in his brain, but one of his things he said was very important. It was happening early in the game. He said that Alex Caruso needed to be an offensive force in this game for them and not just be a defensive, menace that he is.
yeah,
And very early, Alex Caruso had about 10 or 8 early in his game, hit 2 big threes, drives to the bucket, and so he was being athletic. And I went right to the conversation we had with Dre.
yeah,
And there's somebody who knows he's played against these guys. He's in the game right now too. So when he was talking, we just sat back and listened too, because yes, we have our POV, but he's actually in it too. So it
yeah.
was good to hear his
It
mindset
was
on
good
everything.
to hear because D when he said it, he was like, we were talking about when KD went
Yep.
down in the finals. He said, listen, Chris, right away, I can't discredit Toronto and how good they were in the finals because we had a player down. He said the same thing happened when he played against the Cavs and the Cavs lost their players, they won a
Yeah,
championship.
Kevin Love was out. He said Kevin Love.
Kevin Love was
Yeah,
out.
Kevin Love, and then Kyrie went out 1 year.
Yep. So
I mean,
you can't discredit a championship because a player goes down. They played unbelievable basketball leading to this moment.
No, I'm saying, yeah, you're right. You can't discredit it, but man, as a fan, man, it just sucks. Like it really, really is like, you
sure.
you don't get that many game sevens like that, right? And when you can get one where you can feel like this might happen, like this can really go any kind of way, especially you get to this point. And then the fact that like right there, you like just the way the team was moving, it sucks as a fan of the game. You want, especially with no dog in the race in the sense of like none of these teams are my home team. I want to see a situation where I see a really good game, which I felt that we were going to get one, and to get robbed of that a little bit kind of just sucks. Like it just.
Bob, you don't remember what I said in New York?
It
wasn't going to be no good game. It was going to be belt to ass.
But the thing is, it's real easy to say that now. This is real. It's at this point.
Oh, he said it before. He actually said it before, Bob. You didn't say
Wright
it now.
said it was going to be
It
belt
was
to
going to be an
Right.
ass whipping.
Right.
I don't care who in, who out.
Man, you did call it though. But I would have loved to have seen it. If it would have been a belt to ass and this was a whole team, I'd have been like, yo.
Isn't that one of the things we talked about now? It wound up happening to Indiana. But didn't we talk about that, right? Once OKC did not go in there and take care of business, we said, listen, anything can happen in the game 7 when it comes to injuries, when it comes to foul trouble, when it comes to these things. And so it's no guarantee for OKC to go back and do that because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, it happened to Indiana where Haliburton go down with an injury. Now, we will never know, Bob, right? We will never know. What we know is Hallie had 9 points. Indiana it was tie game. They was hooping. It looked like a slugfest was about to go down. But now what we know is that belt got pulled out and it went straight to the ass.
Well, belt to ass is happening, but people on social media that in the Indy, they're going to discredit OKC. And you can't discredit the number one team in the NBA that's been consistent all year, number one in the West. Looks like the championship will be back in the West. It resided in the East. And now with belt to ass, quote from D. Wright, is with a great team. It's hard. How hard is it to get back?
It's so tough. That's why I'm like, dude, Holly going up. Look at the Dallas Mavericks. We thought them boys was for sure going back. They got 2 bigs, 2 superstars, some solid role players. Then you add Klay Thompson to the team, and then you trade your franchise player. That shit's still crazy.
But you just never know, though, man. Like, you're right. Like, you trade your franchise player, but the thing is, look at the fact that Milwaukee hasn't been back.
Bro,
they got one of the best players in the game year after year.
And you would think that
this ain't guaranteed, dog. And once again, I think, I just talked about this, OKC, because of their Shai is 26 years old and they have 9 other players 26 and under. So you got 10 players that are in your rotation or in your future plans that are 26 and under. And so we as fans automatically say, oh man, they're going to be there forever now. Like they about to go on the run. Well, yeah, it seems that way, but also too, listen, we know that some of the things we don't know is contracts going to be coming up in this window. We also understand that, jealousy pops up in this window. Injuries pops up in this window. You know what I'm saying? A guy want a bigger role pops up in this window. So it's a lot of things that changes in the midst of not just, the what the organization is going to do, but just in life, a lot of things are going to happen. And so this is not guaranteed for them to start a dynasty because they're a very good team and that they're going to win this championship right now. And they got a very young team. You don't know what's going to happen next year. Everybody thought Boston was going to be right back here this year because of how good they were last year and everything we've seen. Injuries, man, with hunger, man. None of these things is guaranteed to you. And so, OKC, don't let nobody discredit them. Let them take this. They've earned this championship. Let them go ahead and celebrate this. Because they're gonna have to get right back at it in a couple months to try to defend this title, and it's gonna get harder.
Bro, that's so true. Because now you got me thinking about even when the Suns had an opportunity knocking at the door against the Bucks, then that whole team is dismantled, and then you keep going through, even when the Heat was in the position going against Denver. That team is dismantled. Like, it's very hard with this new NBA to keep a team together long enough to create a dynasty. And I think that's what the NBA want. They want to be able to have a new champion every year. They want to be able to disperse talent throughout the NBA in big markets and small markets. And they want to show, how diverse the NBA is when it comes to these new superstar players. I think this is a part of the plan, bro.
Hey, Indiana on a little run right now, too.
Yeah, they cut. It's under 5. It's going to be 5 minutes. They hit it.
We've seen this movie before. We didn't watch this movie go down before.
Hey, imagine that, though. Imagine that.
If he makes this layup right here, man, he made the layup and one.
If they come, I'm glad they're making it interesting.
I'm out.
Yo, Chris, it's been a timeout for 3 minutes.
Am I delayed?
Man,
you little tardy.
Tardy to the party,
bro. I'm
watching commercials already.
ABC, bro.
Real quick, man. Since we're on a commercial break right now, and I'm looking at Caitlin Clark's in front of me hitting threes from half court. What do you guys? How do you guys feel about Sophie Cunningham being like the enforcer on the team up in Indiana up there with our WNBA, with our Fever?
I like it. She been like the villain. She been playing the villain role for a minute, so it's fitting. A lot of people don't like Caitlin Clark because she gets a lot of credit of changing women's basketball. We all know there's a lot of women before her that paved the way, but she's basically the most popular women's player ever right now. So she gets a lot of love. But Sophie is one of those girls that was the villain when she was in Phoenix. Nobody liked her. They thought she was dirty. So now she's side by side with Caitlin Clark. So, they doubling down on the hatred towards them. So,
bro, she has the number 2 jersey in the WNBA this week. Number 2 jersey.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The game's back, man. Indiana's only down 12. And so here we go, man. They on the run, 11-1 run in the last 3 minutes. This is what they do right here.
Yep. Bad foul on Shai right there.
We had a chance to watch a really good Game 7.
What do y'all think about they're making this run without TJ being on the court? Oh, he just got on the court.
Well, that's how it is, though. You said it. He's a reserve. He comes in, bring his spark, and go. Rest. So, we're gonna see what he do right here.
I don't understand why Andrew Nembhard is not handling the ball more when TJ's in. Just because TJ's in don't mean he need to be running the PG.
Right.
True that.
Like, he's great at attacking, off of, chaos created by the offense.
Absolutely.
Look at that. That's not it. We're not going down.
Yeah,
7-footer. Like,
that was not good.
Yeah, on the second possession in the half court, or the third possession in the half court, not
that
the
ball,
first
baby.
one.
You can't be the hero.
That's why he's the reserve.
I don't like it. I don't like what they doing, bro. I don't like this. That ain't a win of success to win the championship.
No.
Oh, beat that.
There you go.
Nah, bro. I'm telling y'all, if y'all go look at the plus minuses in this game.
Ain't no way
that's some young bones in the body.
What the hell?
Good luck.
There ain't no think.
He traveled?
What? Well, this is a new NBA. Is that a travel?
That is a travel in every
Chris, you teach travels. Is that a travel?
Yeah, that is a travel. He packed every bag and forgot his passport.
I didn't keep it.
Bro, you can't. He Euroed 3 times.
Rick Carlisle been on one all game. Look at Lloyd Pierce.
Dang.
And I haven't seen him because I've been on and off with the television, but is Holly back? Is he on the sideline or is he
in the back?
In the back. I'm not in the back.
That Achilles, he ain't coming out there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Was it the same calf? Was it the same leg as the calf?
1, 2,
it was the right.
3.
It was the right. Yeah. He pushed off from the right to take off, and when he went down, you automatically thought it was an Achilles. Obviously, they were saying calf strain, but we all know that calf strain turns into an Achilles injury.
Because I was looking like, why he fall like that? Then I was like,
yeah, he knew when he started hitting that ground.
Yeah, when he hit the ground,
he was saying no.
Yeah,
he
knew. The thing is, I ruptured my Achilles, my left one, off of a push off triple threat. And man, it felt like somebody took a 22 shotgun gauge to my leg. Boom! I looked around like somebody shot me or kicked me. Everybody was in front of me. I said, oh my God. I looked down, my calf muscle rolled all the way up almost to the back of my knee because it was a full rupture. And when I looked down, my leg was like this. And I couldn't feel anything. It was like a lever was missing. And then when I look up, the Achilles tendon is one of the most powerful tendons that we have in our body. And without that tendon, your leg cannot work, period.
That's crazy.
So in the military back in the day, when they used to cut the Achilles tendon, which slowed down soldiers, in war. But bro, I ruptured that and it just completely changed my life. Completely changed my life.
Well, Indiana's gonna make a run, man. Like, I think that's a part of their DNA. Like, they're gonna make multiple runs in the game. He just don't have that guy that you can make that last. Haliburton, he helps you go on avalanches of runs, with his pace and the way he gets that ball out and the big shot maker that he is.
Yeah.
And then it's a guy you really trust at the end of games that can really complete the run for you. And so, right now they're not thinking about nothing but just get back in the game. But then if they do get back in the game, now who are you going to get a ball to execute to get you a bucket? That's when it gets real. So right now they're not think about that.
OB,
I think you got to go with Macron or
So now the question, so like, and D, you can kind of attest to this because I'm just reminded about when I played Detroit that year. And you got, was it abdominal? Yeah,
my rib,
and everyone kept saying like, man, if you ain't get hurt, blah 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 blah. But then you really had a chance. How does Hallie take this? Like, we kind of still in it, and he hasn't been in the game. How does that hit you? How does that sit with you this whole time? Because now, the way it's looking like, that OKC is going to take this and win the game.
Well, it's going to be hard for him to be that selfless right now and think of, obviously you want your team to win and you want them to perform, but he just ruptured his Achilles in Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that he's worried about himself. I mean, he's down. He's man down. I mean, with all the things. And even though he went out and knew that it was a possibility, we know a lot of things are a possibility. That doesn't mean that it's, we believe they are true and they're going to happen to us. And so that's something that's going to take him a while to come back from. But, the injuries, obviously mine was, I was able to perform in Game 7 because it happened in Game 5. I had to miss Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And I was able to take some shots in my ribs area to try to numb up the area to help me play. This is an injury where Tyrese is, he could possibly miss the entire season next year too.
Mm-hmm.
And so not only do you lose this year, you also lose next year as well. And so that feels a lot longer or something. But for me, man, when we did lose in that game, I definitely went into that summer just to get healthy and get back to the East Conference Finals, and hopefully we had Detroit again, which we did. We were able to beat them in 5 and go off to the finals in 2006 and win our championship. But it was a long summer.
Yeah. Hey guys, here's a key stat, and this is why Hallie's so important. Obi Toppins plays great with Hallie. He's got 0 on the boards right now. Nobody's able to make plays for him cutting, screening, and moving without the ball.
Right.
But right there, that's a point of showing how important Tyrese is at getting other people involved as role players. Because if I'm looking at the stat line, OB stats is 0 points. The last 4 games, he had 18, 20.
Damn.
It just, Hallie made a big impact because anytime he was moving, Hallie can get the ball to him. He's 6'7". He could just throw over the defense.
You see that in football all the time. When QB1 go down, it's hard to get that number 1 receiver the ball, man. So
yeah.
I definitely noticed that as well. He wasn't getting them easy ones, the outlet passes in transition, the easy threes, the one mores. Oh Haliburton going out definitely played a big role of playmaking and moving that basketball.
Right.
Yeah, buddy. Because Hallie get downhill, and Hallie makes the defense shift, makes the defense move, which allows for Toppin. There's a big guy. They can't close out to him and get to the shot. Right now, they don't have to worry about that. So they got as soon as the ball is hit his hands, they right there on him. You know, you got
Right.
Bro,
teams.
that's another turnover from McConnell, bro. It's got to be like 8 turnovers.
It is
from
8,
him.
bro.
No, it's
Is
total
it 8?
21 turnovers right now.
No,
But
but we're
McConnell
talking
got
about from
6 of them.
McConnell
But he
got
seems like he pressing. Like, why are you pressing,
Yeah,
bro? Run
he's
the team.
thirsty. I don't know
I
why.
don't like how OKC playing right now.
Yeah, he's pressing a lot.
Yeah.
You know, he's probably God dang it.
Yeah, I don't like how OKC playing, closing this game out.
Chris, what do you feel about Chet? How Chet how he's played in this playoffs and this finals? Because obviously a lot of people are gonna start, breaking people's abilities down, right? After they win this
Right.
championship. Now it's about what they can do. What do you feel about Chet? I think this is third year, second year,
This is
second and a
third
half
year.
year.
No,
Third year, second year playing.
Yeah, and being in the finals and his performance throughout this.
Man, Chet, without Chet, it would be very tough for OKC to be in this position. Chet has learned not only how to be a star within his role, he's learned how to play with 2 all-star players that offensively draw a lot of attention. So I think he's picked up his hard hat and realized what his role is for this team. His role has been altered a little bit, and maybe he's taken a back seat from scoring. But if you look at what Chad does defensively, he changes the game around the rim. I bet you in this game he has 3 block shots. We talk about rim protection. He's a rim protector, but he also can play individual defense. He's great in pick and roll. He can switch. And when we're looking at it from an offensive standpoint, he spaces the floor being the center. So he pulls the center away from the basket. What
Yeah.
Chet does, he gets a lot of dunks in the game. He's quick off his feet. I think he is one of the intangible pieces. Like when you guys look at with your Miami team, how Chris Bosh was to you and Braun. Chris Bosh was so important.
Yeah, what's crazy is my wife and I was looking at it was something that was sent to me. We was looking at some stats, and Chris and I have had this conversation many a times, but a lot of people don't even know Game 7 of the 2013 NBA Finals. Chris Bosh scored 0 points, but that's how important Chris Bosh was to our team. You didn't notice that.
You didn't notice it.
Yeah, it's not just about the points; it's the
It's not
intent
about the points.
things. And if you go look at the stat line, I mean, he probably a plus for sure. But
Right.
if you go look at the stat line, you're not going to see the impact that Chris Bosh made on that game, right? Chris Bosh had to guard Tim Duncan in that game. So he had to give up himself to guard Tim Duncan and the other bigs that came in there because it wasn't his night offensively.
Right.
And so to your point, when you have a guy like that, like everybody needs to be, even though Chris was an all-star and eventually a Hall of Fame player, they think that everyone needs to be the same. Everyone needs to be on the same level at all times.
Right.
And so I like what you said to Chet because he is somebody who is very, very important, especially defensively for this team. He's a big guy able to switch like that and still protect the paint, but also guard out at the 3. And, that's huge. So I agree with that, man. Chet is having a very impressive start to his young career.
Yes.
And I hate people taking shots at him. He has so much more to learn about the game, and he's the perfect piece for these guys right now, though.
Well, for the people out there, especially the fan, I'm talking to the fan right now. Chet's 7'1". He looks skinny. We always talk about, man, people too skinny or they're too big, instead of just appreciating who they are. And what he showed you throughout this NBA season is he could play against big players, he could play against small players, he could play against medium-sized players. He showed me that he can hold his own in boxing out, playing in the paint, the physicality of the game. Because if you look at his physique, you wouldn't think that he would be able to do that. He's have chase down blocks. He's guarding, 1 through 5. And then I like what he did in game 5 and 6, where he was playing off the dribble. He played off the dribble. He attacked Turner. He attacked the rim. He's drawing kick. So basketball is a sport that allows for people to be stars in his role, and Chet is a star for OKC.
Yeah, I look at him as the real unicorn. I hear that word thrown around. He's a unicorn. Him, Wemby, the way he can handle, the way he got great touch around the basket, the way he could stretch the floor. I love Chet. Chet, one of the ones, man. I think his swag and his charisma, is what get a lot of people liking him. So, he's one of them dudes that's always invited to the cookout too.
And let me tell you this: Chet is a winner. Chet's from Minnesota. Chet won championship in Minnesota. He went to Gonzaga in his freshman year. Him and Andrew Nembhard played together. Just so everybody know, Chet and Andrew was on the same team in college at Gonzaga. I don't know their record offhand, but I know they won 30 plus games. I think they had 2 losses on that Gonzaga team. So you talking about winning, he is a winner. So being able to be a winner and have won at high school, college, and now in the NBA in back-to-back seasons that he's been a part of shows that he's a winner, a high IQ winner.
13 points.
Hey, man, the young boys, you pulled it out, dog. Ball. Time out. Young boys got it done.
Yeah, they did, man. They got it done.
Wow.
They got their first championship up in OKC, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for them, though.
Now,
how do you guys feel about the comment? Sorry, Bob. Just this OKC question real quick. About Shai becomes the Finals MVP and wins this championship. He becomes the greatest Oklahoma City Thunder player.
I was going there. That's what I was doing.
Okay, so we're on the same wavelength. What do you guys? I can tell you what I think afterwards. What do you guys think about that?
Hey, man, a championship seals a lot of conversations, dog. So it's tough. The things that Russell did in that jersey, KD, they did amazing. They got to the finals, but they didn't bring that trophy home. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I might be on the fence with that one.
Yeah,
I'm speaking from a fan. From a fan perspective, if you try to measure, because people throw out championships, fans throw it out like, bro, he got more rings than this guy. As a fan, you like, bro, who got this barbershop talk? Who got more rings? Oh, he had better accolades. Because, Russ, he missed a triple-double.
Right.
But is there a clear separator? And I think it is. I think you put that championship in, and when you start talking about putting up banners, you talking about putting up banners in OKC? This is the first banner in the history. Trey, tell me, Trey, when you put that banner up in Miami, and the first banner in Miami history, you HOF.
Yeah, you walk a little different.
You HOF. So what I'm looking at is Shai. Yeah, they had some great players come through. You think Miami Heat didn't have great players before D get there? Tim Hardaway, you name them. You don't take away from what they did, but we got to give him his flowers.
Just like I'm with Chris on this one. So and I'm gonna have to disagree with the king on this one about the ring culture. The rings matter, and right now, the fact that he getting his ring,
fucking right.
Unless something really crazy happen, which it won't, he's done jumped up to the front. He jumped in the front of the line now. It's
Queen,
he got it.
Clean sweep.
But he's just not getting a ring, bro. He the MVP of the season. He's MVP of the West Coast Championship. Now he's going to be the MVP of the finals. Can you guys tell me the other players that did that? And I think he was a leading scorer in the NBA this year.
Yeah, wasn't no think he was.
All right. So
I think it flies.
Listen, I have no arguments. Nothing that's real anyway. But to me, I personally, I still think that Russell Westbrook is the greatest player in Oklahoma City history right now. Doesn't mean he's going to end up that way. But to me, I still believe that. You can't tell me that a player can come through Miami right now, win a regular season MVP, and win a finals and a finals MVP, and he just becomes the greatest player in Miami history, right? Just like that.
But you got 3 rings.
But what I'm saying is you can't just tell me that someone can just come and do something that you've never done, and it makes them jump over you because of timing, because of opportunities that just was a little different than yours, right? And so I'm not saying that he's going to, what he's done is have put him in a different conversation, in a different room than anybody that's ever played in Oklahoma City.
But with barbershop talk, as a fan.
I'm telling you, as a fan, this is what
we should ask somebody from OKC. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, and I know.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think you're right, because Chris is right. At this point, you talking about They gotta like this is something that's never been done before. Like,
and it might not
right.
ever happen
So,
again.
like, think about how they look at that. What's young bull from for the Knicks? That Frazier. That like they still talking about like
Yeah.
yo, yeah,
Frazier.
1972.
yeah, because he was like yo, they won a title. So,
bro, it is about timing, Flash. I think timing is so important
Everything.
in sports. But what that young man has done for 2 years in a row, and then this year, including,
Bro,
you know,
Russ averaged 4 triple doubles in 4 years.
I wouldn't. To me, I ain't even.
Wait a minute. We're talking about a player who he went and did something that people said it will never ever be done again. He did it 4 times.
No, yeah,
So
I agree with you. It's
all right, so let's not. Okay, now I'm not. Listen, I get it. I'm not. Like I said, there's no argument. Like obviously, if you want to go through what he's accomplished, yes, you can easily say it. But I'm telling you right now, for me personally, when I talk about player to player, like I'm not saying he needs to do more. He's only did 2 years. Like, and it's obviously have led to this moment for him, which is incredible. But Russell Westbrook, dog, he did something that no one has ever. We talking about player. We ain't talking about accomplishments from the standpoint of championships. He did something as a player in the league that no one ever thought was going to be done. He did it 4 years in a row.
As an OKC fan, though, if you're a fan and you go, let's say 10 years down the road, let's say this is the only championship they ever win, right? 10 years down the road, and you're talking about like what's the greatest OKC player that's ever happened? You're gonna be like, what was the MVP of that championship ring that we got? It's him. It's him. It's him. It's him. Ain't nobody else.
Hey, man. Good for conversation. Peace.
Did y'all see SGA throw the Converse around his neck? The gold ones, though? That's cold.
Bro, the gold ones, he like Hussein Bolt out there.
LeBron has every stat, but they'll always talk about Jordan better than him. Why?
Jordan ain't better than Bron, though. Stop.
What did you say?
Hey, what did you say?
Jordan ain't better than Bron.
You said Jordan's not
the greatest still?
No.
I'm about to shut off the
y'all didn't let
right
me
now.
get to the point.
Come on, bro.
Listen, in my opinion,
you're entitled. You're entitled, of course.
Opinion, right. So he has championships. I was saying that at least he got one. Like, I think when you get one, multiples don't matter. But when you looking at great stats, a guy that broke records, that's cool. We're talking about OKC. But if you got 5 rings, 4 rings, you start comparing 4 to 7. I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. Mind you, don't get me wrong.
I think
being in the top three ain't bad of all the players that ever played in the league. That's not a bad place to be number 2. You say number 1.
I have a question. Do you think we're too close to LeBron's situation? Do you think we haven't got a chance to take our step back and really chance it and look at the body of
not me.
And really
He's still playing.
Not me.
Yeah, right? Like it's hard to have this GOAT conversation with guys while we watching a guy who's still playing, right?
Good point.
Because he's going against a GOAT. He's going against a guy that we got a chance. Yeah, we watched him growing up, but we've really been able to digest the body of work that he's really done and the way he's done it. We haven't been able to digest LeBron's body of work yet. So I think it's an unfair argument for LeBron right now in real time, but doesn't mean we're not going to have it. I'm just saying, I think it's very unfair for him, even me. And I say that because Michael Jordan is my goal because I grew up playing the game of basketball because of Michael Jordan, right? I tried to play like Michael Jordan, all these things. But I still play with LeBron James. And I've never seen a basketball player better. I've never witnessed Michael Jordan up close and personal like I witnessed LeBron up close and personal. So it's really a tough situation because I've never seen a greater basketball player. I'm going off of what my eyes seen as a kid and the body of work that I've been able to witness and what they tell me matters. But basketball-wise, this motherfucker has mastered the game at the same time. So it's a crazy argument, you know what I mean? That I'm all
but Dick, is this a fair argument here? Why can't there be multiple GOATs? When have you ever been? So this is my question. Because I grew up in the 90s, Michael Jordan was
Oh,
my favorite
he got the
player.
Michael Johnson goal
That's what I
Converse.
said in Michael Johnson. So
Nice, Shay.
I think
Nice, Shay.
the barbershop conversation always try to make it one generation versus another generation, but everybody played in their own. Like to me, D, you the greatest player ever put the Miami Heat jersey on. Is there other great players that done it? Yes. But when
Well,
you
I have the greatest body of work of anybody who's ever put a Miami Heat jersey on. If you want to be honest, LeBron James is the greatest player to ever put a Miami Heat jersey on.
right, but that's what I'm saying.
If we're going off of that, I'm the greatest player in the history of the Miami Heat of the body of work that I had wearing that jersey. But I'm not the greatest player to ever put on a Miami Heat jersey. How technical are we getting?
But you see what I'm saying? That's why barbershop talk is so fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Because even though I grew up as a Jordan fan, I do really think LBJ is probably the greatest player ever put on the jersey by far.
I think it's unfair too because the GOAT conversation is way beyond the game of basketball too. It's not just basketball, right? You know what I mean? And so I think Michael Jordan has a lot of other things in his favor than LeBron has in his favor, right?
True.
And I think one of them is the stories that his peers tell. Michael Jordan's peers tell. They call him the Black Cat. Like they marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like when they talk about MJ, it was never another basketball besides Isaiah Thomas, and for the
Black
most part,
Jesus.
everybody else raised this man up like this. We in the generation with Brian, and we like, well, we think GOAT. If we was doing the same thing for Brian, it would be the same conversation, right? We didn't jump though. We went straight barbershop talk because we started talking about the GOATs.
That's
you go barbershop talk. We talk about the GOATs.
I'm over here laughing and smiling because I'm happy for these young boys, dog. And then I just like their demeanor too. Yeah. They don't look like they're overly excited. Like they look like this ain't it.
We knew we was gonna do this.
Yeah, we knew we was gonna do this. So I'm looking at all that. That was cold right there.
I think the league has taken big jumps with the young guys, and for SGA to be the front runner now, he has the right personality. He has the right swag. He understands. You can see how he's moving with his team. I think I'm walking in gyms and I'm hearing people say, SGA do this. SGA working on this. SGA doing a guy like that. And, I don't think he's a man of many words, but I think they got a guy in the right position.
I got a question.
To be the face of the league.
Who's the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time?
Ooh.
Shit, Kawhi Leonard.
Y'all go. Here y'all go with this shit again.
Come on, bro. Don't do that. Vince Carter. Nah.
Kawhi Leonard is the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time just because he won the ring.
See, you might have got me in my ring culture with that one.
It can't be
say Vince Carter.
See, that's what Brian talking about with his ring culture.
You might have got me with that one.
That was good. That was good.
Boy, is it
was good.
I mean, you got DeMar DeRozan, you got Vince Carter,
you got Vince of instincts. I was thinking Vince.
You got Chris Bosh. I mean, you got multiple guys that.
I'm sorry.
That was dirty.
When it comes
Don't
to
do
the
that
Toronto
again.
Raptors, how many years is Vince? Vince was more in New Jersey. He made his impact more in New Jersey.
He got his jersey retired both places, so he made his impact in both places.
D-Right, that was dirty though. He thought about that.
Why not? That's the same. Okay, so
that was good.
That wasn't a trick question to me though. When I think about the Toronto Raptors, I think about what Kawhi Leonard did. Nobody else.
Because he left his imprint.
He did.
Exactly, and left. Fuck.
But Vince left his imprint and left. The imprint don't always need to be it doesn't always need to be a championship to be called because that makes the other player greater.
I hear you. I just feel like
agree
Vince's
with you on that.
career in New Jersey and other places were way more killer than Toronto.
I don't disagree, but I just posed a question.
That was a great.
I just posed a question.
That was sneaky.
That was good. That was good.
That was sneaky, bro. That was sneaky.
Here at the Wide Network, we're excited to announce Kicks Crew is our presenting sponsor for our Timeout show with me, Dwyane Wade, for the Eastern and Western Conference Finals and also the NBA Finals. I know I already showed y'all these, but I got to do it again because they finally ready for you to go get them. I'm so proud of my brother, D'Angelo Russell. for launching his first signature shoe and marking a new milestone for himself and Wade. It comes in 5 different colorways, each representing a unique part of his journey and many more to come. So you can get the Wade D-Lo ones right now on kickscrew.com.
So now
Hey,
I'm gonna have to
man,
say
listen,
Kawhi now. Now my
listen,
answer gonna be Kawhi now, so I can stay consistent.
yeah,
So I can stay consistent.
I love what Shai's doing. I love the trajectory that Shai's on, and I hope that Shai stays in OKC for the rest of his career. But we don't know if he's going to do anything else after this, and we don't know how long he's going to stay in OKC. That doesn't make him the greatest player in Oklahoma City Thunder history to me. That makes what he's done no one else has done.
Right.
Like he's in a category of his own, but it's still more to do. And if this is it, he can go somewhere else then and have an even more luxurious career than he's had here.
Yeah, but
and
he ain't going nowhere, D. He about to sign this max contract.
Listen, we don't know what's going to happen. I'm just
okay. Then let me ask you this: who's the greatest Buck?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Did Kareem play for them?
Kareem did play for them. He was the greatest probably until Giannis went off and got 2 MVPs and 1 MVP, 2 Defensive Player of the Years, and won a Finals MVP and won a championship.
Let me pull that back then. Not the team between Kareem and Giannis. Who had the better career there?
Giannis.
Career?
There in Milwaukee.
Overall career.
Giannis.
There
in Milwaukee. Overall career.
Kareem.
All right. So
Kareem.
He can't be the greatest. I'm just saying. He can't be the greatest.
But he's still playing though.
I got a question then.
See? You see?
Who's the greatest Celtics?
Say it again.
Larry Bird.
Who's the greatest
Celtics? Oh, that's
Celtic
easy. That's Bird
play?
all day.
Bill Russell.
It ain't Bill Russell?
It's got to be Bill Russell.
It ain't Bill Russell.
It's got to be Bill Russell.
Bill Russell had the greatest winning career of any Celtics that ever played. Larry Bird is the greatest Celtics that ever played, dog. You better. This is what I keep telling you. It ain't just about the rings, dog.
It ain't about the rings, Flash. I agree with you.
All right, so I'm going to take argument back to make it make sense.
Yeah,
because T. Wright was the first one to say Larry Bird. What happened to your ring count, brother?
Larry Bird.
I love it. Stick to it, right?
Hey, real quick, man. Back on the game, real quick, man. OKC, obviously, as we talked about, man, these guys are 26 and younger. They came and captured, something that most guys, no matter how great they are individually as a player, they will never get a chance to do. And a lot of players will never be able to lead a team to a championship like Shai just did. And so, like I said, that puts him in a total different category, dog, than anybody who would just have a championship one day, because he was the leader of that as the MVP of the regular season and the Finals MVP as well, man. Talk about this moment for these young guys a little bit, man, and how does this feel for these guys to be the champions of our game?
I think it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to have success at a young age. Not only, to winning a trophy, bringing it back to your city, but what it's going to motivate you for. A lot of these guys are going to get jobs the rest of their career because they were a champion. Mm-hmm. Organizations, teams want champions. They want people that went through it and experienced it.
Yeah.
How do I know? Because I was one of those guys. I didn't play 1 second in the finals, but I was always the one called up to explain to my team what it took to be a champion. So just the motivation, just the leadership, and just that daily preparation to become a champion. So this is only going to make every single one of these dudes on this roster go up from here.
I'm going to take the coach's perspective. Coach worked his way through the farm system. Coach started in the G League. They took a chance on him. He wasn't a big time basketball player. He didn't play in the NBA, and people always discredit people from not being a former player to being a coach. And you can be right.
This guy right here in this smaller box down here to my left.
They discredit it, but my perspective is that I think being a player puts you in a category of your own, and being a coach is a different POV. It's a different lens. It's understanding people, and coach has nothing but longevity. He's only been with one franchise. they believed in him to move him up. And when he went from the G League to the big leagues, his transition was there. And even though he's quiet mannered, he's really good. X's and O's. He's showing up with his team. He kept them together. He put a young team in the finals to win the chip. It's not an old team. So it is opportunity for coaches that never played at the highest level that can come in and really put the work in and earn the respect of the players in that league to lead them. And so I'm excited to see that because he started in the G League. And you go do the history, you go look, do your work. For you coaches out there that are trying to work your way up, it goes back to Coach Spo for you, D and D Wright. He worked his way out of the film room. He put in the work. He didn't cheat it. He worked his way to the top, and he's one of the most respected coaches in this league or have ever coached in the league. And so coaches out there, I'm talking to you guys, work hard, just like the players do. Go put the time in. Go understand your personnel and then build your system around what you have that year. And you can be also in a position to be like Coach Mark. So shout out to Coach Mark and to the OKC front office for believing in someone coming from the G League all the way through the form system to now being an NBA champion.
Yeah.
Bob, how do you feel?
I'm excited for like the fans of OKC and like the organization itself in general. Like obviously the players, the coaches are all important, but I feel like Sam Presti's been kind of like building this juggernaut, right? And then you look at just think about all the fans, like let's say Philadelphia, where they've been getting number one picks and just saying trust in the process, but the process that's happening at OKC actually worked. Like they did what they needed to do and kind of like just rock out. So from my opinion, I feel like you're looking at Presti, like all those guys, like the whole organization is kind of building like putting into that team, pouring into that team. Because you seen, like when I was as a fan watching like how OKC would start stacking draft picks and those kinds of things, you're like, well, so we saw other teams do that and didn't work. It worked here. And that's impressive to see. So for me, and now we're talking about the potential of them being a dynasty, getting like their main guys 26 and under. Like that's really dope. And
Bob,
that's pretty just dope putting
Bob,
together, That's why I look at it.
Bob, you're talking about consistency. That's why these organizations got to stop firing these coaches right at the end of the season and doing things out of the box because OKC has had the same coach for, 6 years straight.
7th. I think that was the 7th season.
This is 7th season, bro. Like, it's going to be ups and downs in professional sports. And then he's been with them from the G League. So he's been at the organization. Go look at Coach Spo, bro. He's coaching these guys in Miami. Miami Heat coacher is Spo.
Yeah,
You see
bro.
what I'm saying? So you got to stop firing these coaches and give them an opportunity to coach these players so that the league can be at its most competitive. We want to see the best brand of basketball at the highest level. And you got to have consistency with coaches.
Yeah.
Look at Phoenix. I know we're moving players around right now. They went through 3 coaches in like 2 years. What was our black coach name that took him to the finals?
Monty Williams.
How you go to the finals and get fired? Bud didn't even make it. Bud didn't even make it halfway through this jump. And then you have what is his name? Vogel.
Vogel went to the finals with the Lakers and got fired.
Lakers. So you can't win, and you can't create a culture because you guys know, D, right? The culture. You can't do that without having a head man in place to build it. So either they do a better job of the hiring process of finding who they want to lead versus doing favors. Stop doing favors and get the right people in place so they can do
that. That was something, listen, going all the way back to the lockout when I was a part of it in 2011, 10-11 season, summer. And that was a part of the conversation. You know what I mean? And part of it was, we need to be doing a better job in management and stop putting it all on the players that we didn't get this player this amount of money and he's not performing. And so now we want to roll back. And it's like, no, how about you put a little bit more onus on the management, of these teams a little bit. They're making these decisions, and it's nothing that's happening to them. They just get a chance to keep firing and hiring and firing and hiring and firing and hiring.
Yep.
And so, it's very unfortunate that we get to see that. And so what I go to Bob's point, giving the organization of Oklahoma City so much credit, because what they have done is they have shown the fan base around the game that if you have great management, if you have patience, if you wait, if you build, if you nurture, you know what I mean? If all these things that you need to do that no one wants to do, no one wants to take 10 years to really build a team that
Right.
can become a dynasty. Everybody want to go out and get it right away. And so I think what Oklahoma City have shown the league is shown that these smaller markets, you don't need to be in just New York or LA, one of these big markets, to be able to have an opportunity if your organization is ran correctly. If you're doing more than just, you know what I'm saying? If you're making sure that the city that your organization is in is having an opportunity to, the economy can grow because all the things that you're doing as a team, all the, I mean, it's so much goes to it. If you're an NBA team, you're trying to sell these smaller media markets in a sense. So Oklahoma City has done an amazing job of showing these smaller media markets that patience is a virtue, but also too, you have to make the right moves. You have to bring in the right Chris Paul, come in there, bringing in the right vet, bringing in Chris Paul to be there with SGA was huge for the development of that young man who has now become the face of your organization and now the face of the NBA right now as we sit here and watch this confetti go down. And so I think, to your point, Bob, that's what I love about this. And to my point, I would say is I love to see a young guy to go get his access card.
Yep.
And that's what SGA just went and done. That's what Jalen Williams
he
has
did.
done. These guys just went and got their access card to a whole nother room that some of their peers will not be able to go in. He just went and did it. He in a room that I can't even go in. You know what I mean? In a sense, as an accomplished player, he can go in the MVP regular season room. I can't go in there. I only could put a cup to the door. And so, man, I love the fact that he went and got his access card at 26 years old with so much more in front of him. And you know what I love about him more than anything? He's done it in Converse just like your boy did. I just want to. They had a champion since 2006, baby, 19 years ago. Big young fella.
He got them gold Michael Johnsons
Hey,
on.
he did it cold. Hey, I won that savvy when I won mine. I won the savvy as that. He put them joints around his neck, dog, the gold.
You know, hey, can I throw something else at you guys? I know this is a part of the GO debate. No, the GO debate.
Bob been having to get off for an hour.
Yeah, Bob.
All right, but close it out.
So
y'all close it out.
I close it out. But you got to say this.
And remember, before y'all close it
I
out,
wanted
make
to
sure
say
y'all
something
stay on for a little longer so we can get the system to go do it right.
So
I
I'm
don't know,
looking
but
at
he's
Shai.
the whole thing.
I'm looking at Shai hold the MVP.
Yo, Bob.
He gone.
Bob, come back. Let's close it out and then let us finish. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm watching Shai hold the MVP trophy, right? And I'm thinking about the GO debates. I'm thinking about people in barbershops this week because there's going to be a lot of talk leading up to the draft. You know, barbershop talk. Man, I love barbershop talk, by the way, anyway, because it just keep it. I almost said the wrong word, but it keep you on your toes, keep you talking shit. and when you look at it, Shai is a quiet leader. Does that take away from him being a great player? Because when you look at Michael, he led in a different way. When you look at Braun, he leads in a different way. When you look at you led in a different way. There's not one way to lead, but when we talk about the GOAT, people look at how people led. And I'm looking at him that hold the MVP trophy up. His leadership wasn't cursing his teammates out. His leadership wasn't being, demising people. He sat down on the bench and the coach called his name and said, "Who? Shai?" He sprinted to the table.
Yeah, let's give him Steph Curry. Very similar.
So, is people going to take away from his greatness because he's not cursing people out?
Chris, I mean, that's a great point. It's a great question. It obviously, like you said, barbershop conversations, barbershop questions don't even need to make sense. It just starts a conversation.
Bro, I like it though. I like it.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't feel the need to want to answer that question, but I hear you.
But you know what I'm saying though, because people look at how people led teams into the championship. Like, bro, he was on this guy, he was pushing this guy through the wall, and then you look at another guy, his leadership is different. I'm watching Shai.
There's so many different ways to lead, bro. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm
so many
saying.
different ways to lead. And, I think, what we do is, and LeBron has become a victim of this. Some people has pinned his style versus Michael Jordan's style. And because Michael Jordan did it one way, he don't do it that way, that he can't be the GOAT, or he can't be better than him, or he can't be something. And it's like, no, man, it's more than one way to play this game of basketball, man. It's more than one way to be great at this game. It's more than one way to put the ball in the basket.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so everybody want to make it one way because that's, that you got to be on one side of the fence for an argument. You got to be on the right side or the wrong side.
Right.
Right, for an argument to make sense. And so how Shai, man, listen, this is the most swagged out, next to Allen Iverson, he wasn't able to take his team to the championship, but we ain't never seen a swagged out leader before like this.
Not like this.
You know what I'm saying? Like he just all the way through, he just been so cool, calm, and collective. Obviously it comes from just who he is, right? But his daddy talking up shit for both of them. So
boy,
it's in there. It's in there. They talk. They talk it. He just know how to keep it tucked and keep the main thing the main thing. But man, obviously he's a great leader because every time he hit the ground, everybody ran over there to pick him up. Right? You start seeing the little things. Obviously, the big things is every interview he had, everybody was behind him.
Yeah.
But coming out of his camp, you don't hear nothing negative about him, and you hope that you don't hear nothing negative as time go on, because now they've had success. But you don't hear nothing about him, bro. And so he obviously is an amazing leader. He leads by his play, and sometimes that's enough. You don't always got to be, every time your team do something, showing them up by your mannerisms. You know what I mean? He doesn't really do that, and so
he don't do that at all.
Yeah, he's a good leader for the league, man. This is a good place for the game to be. For the international game to continue to be. It's international, bro.
Yeah. I mean, Canada is right next door. I don't even consider them international.
Listen, I know we supposed to, all of us on different schedules, man, and I don't know when the next time we're gonna all get in the studio together. But can we talk about this billionaire business real quick?
That's what I was about to say. Let's go
there. This Houston Rockets, y'all mean? Can we talk about this Phoenix Suns and Houston Rockets trade?
Bro, let me say something real quick before you two vets get this. This goes back to what we talking about Sam Presti did. This Houston Rocket team was number 2 in the league behind OKC. The one thing I loved about this team is they had the number 1 defensive rating, I think, in the NBA. They rebound as a team. That chemistry, the nucleus, the coach just got there. They just extended the coach. Other player, man, what we doing, man?
Chris, you saying you didn't like the trade. Is that what I'm getting?
I did not like the trade. I'm talking front office. I ain't talking players. I'm talking from a front office standpoint. I did not like the trade because you just broke up a young team that was doing what we want you to do and build a culture in Houston. Houston have had a culture since Hakeem and Drexler. So now you finally put together a nucleus that can work together to trade away a young player that's a super athlete, super scorer, and a defensive player that you got under contract for 2 years. From a front office standpoint, it don't make sense because they got a draft pick and they could pick up a draft pick and they could have said, let's run it back with these young guys that was second in the West.
My take on that, I get what you're saying. My take is Dylan Brooks, you could find somebody. Jalen Green, generational talent as far as athleticism and being able to, create space and jump over you and make shots. Inconsistent, takes a lot of tough shots, also is a tough shot maker. But you got the young kid from Villanova, Cam. You got the kid from LSU, Eaton. And then you got the Thompson twins. I would rather develop those guys and get them in a spot where they can play with Şengün. Because the face of that team is Şengün. You need guys around him that's going to be able to make shots, play hard, and be two-way players and be playable. So I feel like now adding Kevin Durant in there, now you're getting a scorer, a guy that stretches the floor and that's consistent. So I thought the trade it was done for Phoenix because you had all them young dudes I just named, and you got none of them. You just went and got another two guard. So you got Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and whoever else. They all two guards. It's the same shit that was just going on with Kevin Durant.
Right.
So you got smaller, and you still got the same problem, in my opinion.
I think
that's how I kind of looked at it.
D, what you think?
That's great points. I mean, I'm gonna go with the Phoenix Sun. I'm gonna go with how I looked at Phoenix. I looked at Phoenix being in a tough spot, right? With obviously having Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. They went for it in the way that they could, right? The new owner came in and he was like, I'm ready to make a splash. And his splash was Kevin Durant. And they gave it a run. They gave it a try, and it didn't work out. They had 3 coaches in this experiment, and multiple players. And so I look at Phoenix and I say, what Phoenix did for themselves is they gave themselves some elbow room because they were bootstrapped in a sense,
Right.
And so they needed to give themselves a little breather and create something for themselves. And they did an amazing job of turning, Kevin Durant, who's one of the greatest in our game, but also too someone who's 36, 37 years old come next season, turning him into, let's see who Jalen Green may become. Because the one thing Jalen Green showed us is that, yes, he's inconsistent, and no, he's not ready yet. But also, too, he also showed us that he understands that, and he put the onus on himself to say, the lights were bright. And so we get a 2-year look at him. Right, we get a 2-year look at a young guy like that. We also get a 20th pick, and then too, we got 5 second round picks that we could turn into something. And so we gave ourselves just some breathing room with a player who, with the fan base and also with KD, who just probably got weary of each other. KD he get weary after a while, and the fan base did as well. Right, they expect winning when you get greatness that comes to your team, and they wasn't getting that. And so I think it was great for both sides to kind of split that up, and Phoenix to give themselves some elbow room, and Houston to give themselves a chance right now and say, all right, our young course, Jalen Green, somebody who we depend on, he just showed us that he's not ready right now. And he's not ready right now. Are we going to put ourselves in a situation where we're going to have to give him a max in 2 years? Or are we going to try to move on and try to bring somebody in here that can bring hope to this? Like D. Wright said, build around what our future really is going to look like. And Kevin Durant is just somebody to come in and give me 26, 28 a night. You know what I mean, in a sense. And it gives us a chance right away to get this excitement, get this shit brewing in a sense. And so I kind of look at it the other way as well, even though, Chris, I do understand what you're saying about the patience of OKC, the steps that they took, the building blocks they were willing to take. Everybody don't have that patience. Everybody don't have that kind of time, right? Houston decided that they went on that time no more. They were not willing to wait. And because they were not willing to wait on Jalen Green to get to the level that he was drafted to be, or that he was a top high school player at one point to be, they made a move. And it was a great move for Phoenix because they needed this elbow room.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And
That's how I looked at it.
No, that's a great POV. I just looked at it from like, damn, Houston wasn't patient. I'm not even looking at the players in regards of KD being, a great player. He's going to make that team better, right? I'm looking at it from the front office, from the coach's perspective. You just extended your coach. You just was in the playoffs making a run.
You don't think Coach had nothing to do with it?
He wasn't a fan of Jalen Green, and we saw that the year before when he benched him.
Coach got something to do with that too, right?
Coach, he wasn't a fan of Jalen Green.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Jalen Green showed us that. I mean, I think he went off for like 42 in one of the games. Like, he has that level, that potential, but also too, he's not there yet.
No.
And you don't know how long you got to wait on a young guy to actually get to that level of where SGA is, where this guy can actually help you get to the finals. He's not at that point. And so once they saw that, I feel like they made a move and said, instead of saying, let's wait, let's make a move right now because the move is there for us to make. And I don't think they gave up too much. Huh?
Yeah, and they're close. Like Chris just mentioned, they're the second best team in the West.
Yeah, they're the second best team in the West.
Yeah, they're close.
I was just looking at the patience. That's all. I mean, I think you make moves, but I'm just watching the patience. Like Boston won the year before, and you look at the patience of the
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking at the patience.
Yeah, most organizations do not have it.
No,
Listen, I'm with an organization right now in Utah where they're gonna have to have patience.
right.
And it's so hard to have patience, right? You know what I mean? And my conversation with Ryan all the time is to build this, you're gonna have so much patience.
Yeah.
To do it, and because you want to do it, what you feel is the right way to do it, and the right way to do it is to build it through young assets, right? You hopefully build it through free agency a little bit, where you can have some people that can sell some tickets, some people that can sell some jerseys that people want to
Right.
buy into and bring the fans out. But you really want to build this young nucleus and this young core. So it comes to the draft. Right. It comes to getting a guy who's maybe played 3 or 4 years somewhere else, is now 22, 23. You're going to get him, right? Having the money to be in a position to go get him, to put him with someone that you drafted as. And so it takes time. It takes a lot of patience to get to that point where you want to raise this trophy over your head like Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma City was everybody was talking so much shit about Oklahoma City when they was taking all these draft picks. Everybody like, what is they doing over there? They got draft picks all the way to 30, 20, 34.
Yep.
You see what they was doing. But everyone does not have the ability to do this. Everyone doesn't have the right management in place to do this, to make these decisions and make these moves. We obviously know that every organization is not ran like Oklahoma City.
Right.
And so that too, some organizations ain't got the person that could wait and put this together. They got to go out and get that fish. And that's where their strengths are. You know what I mean? Pat Riley has been very honest. He loves to go for the big fish.
Right.
And his success has come when the big fish has been on the market. He's not willing to build through the draft.
So with this new with the way the season has ended, right? With these major injuries to certain players, right? The draft is this week. And we looked at some teams like Boston, we thought they would repeat. Now we'll be talking about OKC and what they could do, the next season. Look at how the NBA is improving around you. How important is it to evaluate the talent that's in the draft to see if you can find someone that can actually help the organization take that next step? Because some organizations won't have their superstar player next year. And even though they was at the top, it's going to be hard for these players to be replaced because they are the elite of the elite. So does the draft play an effect on that? Now that like Haliburton's out, do you draft a guard in Indy? Because I know guards have been in there working out and they've been like, oh, we're not going to get him. We're going to get this guy. Does this now change that? Does that change that for Milwaukee? Does it change that for Boston? What do y'all think?
I just don't think when I look at the draft, there's that many point guards that's ready to go right now. I feel like by the time they're ready to go, the superstar is going to be back. I feel like you go get what you need, and then you go free agency and get somebody on the minimum or a generous contract. I don't really see too many guards that could come in right now and be a big time game changer to take up, or have any type of impact that those stars that went down has. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. So get you what you need, go in free agency, do well, get somebody that can hold it down, and then wait until that following year.
Yeah, man, it's so many ways to cut it. I mean, let me take an example that the Chicago Bulls did when Jason Williams got into his accident.
Yeah.
Right, Jay Will was having an incredible year. He looked like the future, guard of the team. And then over the summer, he had his accident, and then they had to, reposition themselves and then go into the draft different. And that was my draft. And so they started looking at a guard a little bit tougher. They end up drafting Kurt Heinrich because they needed a guard. Because Jay Will went down. They didn't go into that probably thinking they needed a guard because they had their guard of the future. And so injuries do sometimes change the course of what your draft positioning is and what you were thinking going in. Right now, Indiana knows they're going to be without, Tyrese Haliburton for pretty much the whole season next year.
Right.
And so if we feel that we still want to be competitive, we feel we still want to be there. Like Wright said, you look and say, yeah, I may draft different, but now I may move out the draft. I may move up in the draft. Now the whole mentality when it comes to where we're drafting and what we're doing, it may just have changed. Now these next few hours, the calls are going to be a little different because we don't have Tyrese Haliburton, and we want to get right back to competing. So who are we going to put in here? Who are we going to get? How are we going to substitute this? has to be, kind of the way that Indiana at least is going to go into these calls over these next, few hours before the draft.
And that's why I asked that question, because I know the draft process is happening. I'm a part of the draft process, and I think this is super interesting, to watch teams now, even with the blockbuster trade, how they evaluating their squad and the moves that they're going to make,
Yeah.
right? Because I think, when you have an asset and you can get low-lying fruit at a cheaper price, sometimes you got to go get it at a cheaper price, especially if they can fill a role. And so it just changes perspective with injuries, especially injuries that take people out for a while.
Facts.
One thing I want to know from you guys, man, as we wrap up this first season, in a sense that, we as the Timeout, crew have come together and built this show right in front of our fan base eyes. And also too, man, we just came from New York, and and Bob, I know you asked us a lot of feedback about the show that we did live out there in New York. But one of the coolest things about us going to New York and being at Fanatics Fest was really the people we were running into. A lot of it, our peers, a lot of people who are in this game, this podcast game, or in the sports game, really talking about our show and really talking about. You can tell everyone is hearing us, everyone is watching us. Even people saying they would love to come and sit down and be on the show. And so, I think the voices that we try to build on the show, man, is really radiating to the viewers, out there about what we're doing. And so it's been really cool. Pretty much since the Luka trade, we've been grinding. Since February,
Right.
in a sense. And even though I feel that the timeout means so many more things than just sports, and we will have other things to talk about. When we talk about the NBA season, we're going dark for a long time on the NBA season. And so this is one of our last shows talking about the NBA for a very long time. And we'll be moved to other topics, when it comes to taking the time out as brothers and having conversations. But this is it, man. And so how do you guys feel this season, went? I think, it felt like this season had so many different versions of it, and obviously the big trade with Luka kind of made it feel like a different season as well. But like, how do you feel this season went, starting with you, D, right, and going around the horn?
Yeah, I thought it was weird, to be honest with you.
Right?
The fact that we seen some guys. Well, we seen a guy get traded, which was Luka Doncic. That was strange. And then just seeing so many of our good players be out for the rest of the season. So it was just a weird feeling, but some great basketball. I felt like the NBA definitely did some things right. Some things they got to still clean up and get better with. I thought the NBA Cup was amazing, especially being there and experiencing it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a weird season, but we saw some great basketball. I felt like the playoffs was amazing throughout. Every single round, every single team, they went out there and battled. So, man, I'm excited about the future and these next generation of players coming in, and see if they can continue to carry the legacy.
Chris, talk to me, dog. How was this season for you, man? How did you feel this season started, ended? How you think it went?
I thought the season was exciting. I seen Detroit Pistons, bring back Detroit basketball.
Yeah, they did.
They brought it back. And that point guard, boy, oh man, he's a stud. And I wasn't a fan of him, but now I am. And they had a player injured, which I was a fan of, and he'll be back this next year. And I like what the new generation of players was bringing to the table. I like how they showed up and they showed out and they competed at a high level for the whole season. And, it makes the basketball game so fun because it becomes unpredictable. When it's unpredictable and you're walking into a game and you like, I don't know who gonna win tonight, who gonna hoop tonight, who's not hooping, who gonna show up, oh man, Luka got traded, cool. Now we got Luka and Braun. Oh, it's up. Jersey sales up, Oh, wait a minute, we got AD and Kyrie. Like, bam, then Kyrie gone. It to me, you got to take the good and the bad. And that's what make NBA basketball so exciting for me. Ever since I was a kid, watching Isaiah Thomas sprain his ankle in the finals, and limp his way back into the game. You know, going back to moments of like the Phoenix Suns when Barkley lost, when Jordan was just on Marley. You know, I can go through each generation of it. Flash back to you 19 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that. So this year was really exciting for me when I looked at who was at the top of the league, the majority of the league. In the West, you're looking at OKC, the Rockets, Memphis. All these teams were very young, and we've seen the teams that were led by veterans in the middle and down, and we're like, wow, these matchups in the playoffs is going to be crazy because, you know, you got to lean to the veterans in the playoff games. And you catching guys like Minnesota, you know, that had a team that was playing in the finals last year, you know, playing another opportunity. And now they got to make some adjustments to their team. And, you know, New York coming out of nowhere, Jalen Brunson hooping. And New York made some great choices in bringing in people and moving the people around. And, you know, they did a good job too with their front office. And so it just was exciting, man. It was exciting. Dame, we didn't get to really see him as much with Giannis, but I was excited about it. And so now I'm super excited about the draft, and I'm excited about Summer League because some of these guys that didn't get to play much and, you know, you don't get to see them, you get to see them for 10 games. So basketball to me is what I love and what I do. And I love this thing, man. So basketball was good this year. I love it. I love this game, man. I can't stop. I don't know why.
B.O.B., talk to me, man.
Man, as far as what we've been building and what we've been kind of creating, I think it's interesting because this is journey. It's been fun, man. It's been just an interesting journey as we say, we're kind of closing out season one technically of the timeout. And it's even just like that, like the fact that the fans been able to enjoy this process from the Luka trade to this up to the end of this finals, this great basketball of finals, and then just that process of us trying to find our voices and figure out what we're trying to create. And then from that point, just the phrase timeout, and it means so much more than just what, you know, it's one portion of the story right now, right? That you hear it and seeing and viewing. But then the story is still evolving. And I think as we develop this more, I think that's such a dope experience. And I think for me is I've learned quite a bit from more than just a fan and just like the perspective that I look at it from, but more so just this intelligent, this real deep conversation, more than just clickbait, right? And I think that's been pretty cool to see the trend of what we're doing and what we're building is so different, right? And it's so young. Like every time I think about the fact that if you talk about from the Luka trade to now, that's 5 months, and we've been able to do something really dope and real special. And that's just the first block of what we're trying to continue to build. So I think for me, like this everything, like us figuring out, right, just trying out this and trying out that, and right, we go from Riverside, going from playback, all these things that we're trying out, and to be able to do in real time, it's been really just fun. And I think as the show continues to grow, we go into this summer break-ish time, and the topics are gonna change. We're gonna probably touch some little topics as far as, you know, maybe the draft, summer leagues, and training camp. We're also gonna be talking about like men's, like just different stuff for fatherhood and other barbershop talk outside of just basketball.
Yeah.
That part and that development of that part is dope. And I think watching that evolvement of what we're doing with us brothers has been cool. And to see that grow is kind of really dope. So I'm looking forward to it. As far as like every day we're trying to make it better. Every week we're trying to make it better, trying to just keep dropping content. And I know we're going to be technically taking a break, but we're not taking a break because we're going to keep dropping content. We're going to always be on at the end of the day. It's going to be just different. And that part is just cool too, even trying to figure that out. And I think that part is that journey is going to be a really dope journey. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I appreciate everybody saying the comments. They said like the feedback you just gave about Habit and Fanatics, that's dope. We got more coming. We got a lot more coming. So yeah, that's my 22 cents.
22 cents. I think for me, I think one of the things when it comes to retiring from the game of basketball 6 years ago, and you walk away from the game when you're able to, because you lose some love for it.
Mm-hmm.
You lose a love for a lot of things around the game of basketball, and you just kind of say, I want to go do something else. I don't really have the same passion for this as I've had. And then, from there, I kind of went off and I watched the game a little bit, but I never really was in it. You know what I mean? And even doing TV for a few years when I retired, it still was hard to get into the games and really get invested into the players. And so, doing this show this year, man, it really brought my love for the game back as a fan. You know what I mean? Like I kind of had lost that as a fan, and now I'm excited to talk about the game of basketball with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I get to talk about, of course, with my brothers, but the way you guys see the game, the way you guys talk the game, and it allows me to feel confident the way I see the game and talk the game. But also too, it makes me go look at the game more. It makes me go analyze the game more because I want to see what you guys see as well. And so it's made me fall back in love with the game, man, to show the timeout, really, and I love that for the sport that I grew up playing that I kind of lost something for. And so I'm excited, to continue to keep having an opportunity to speak on this platform about the game of basketball in this organic way when I ain't got no shoes on right now, no socks, chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like the platform this allows for us to have it's been great. And just being able to see the voices grow. You know what I'm saying? Seeing everybody kind of find their footing. Like the other day I told Wright when he got out the car, I said, boy, you in your bag, man. You in your element,
Mm-hmm.
And from the first interview when we were trying to find the voice of the show to now, like it's not even the same human being, that's in front of us. So just watching each other grow too, I think that's something that's really cool. You know what I mean? And find ourselves and find our voices in this space. So I look forward to even more of it. But I just want to thank you guys for giving me the space to fall back in love with the game as a fan, the way that I have this year, man, because, I missed that. I missed that part of me. So looking forward to more of this and watching the game. I can't wait till next season. We got a changing of the guards, NBC, Amazon coming in. There's going to be some different visuals. The game going to look a little different to our eyes with these new streaming services coming in. And I can't wait to see how it continues to grow and how it continues to evolve and us being a part of it in whatever way possible. So that's to wrap it up. It was a beautiful year, man. It was a year that had so much ebb and flow, highs and lows. But it was one of those seasons that ended in a storybook kind of conversation. The team that was the best team for the whole year ended up being the best team at the end of the year and everything in between. And so it's a great year of basketball from the Olympics all the way to this championship. It just seemed like it's been continuing. So I love to have been a part of it in so many ways, and I can't wait to continue to be a part of the next season of basketball. We're celebrating 20 years in Miami of our championship next year from when we won it. So it's going to be a great year for us as basketball fans, but us as guys who won a championship 20 years ago, we get to celebrate a milestone going into next season. So I'm excited about that. And if the organization won't do it, I will. I will. So, man, that's it. That's all I got to say, man. It's been a great season, though. 2024, 25 NBA season has come to an end. SGA MVP, Oklahoma City Thunder, the world champions of our game, man, of our beautiful game. As Chris said, man, we love this game. So my brother D. Wright, my brother Bob, my brother Chris, I'm D. Wade, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, taking a moment, and taking the time out with us, man. Peace.
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 Yes, sir.